Hello and welcome, family, to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? This is my co-host, Errol. How you doing, Errol? I really do pray, family, that you are very well in all your ways and that you're moving into your own narrative. Because out of Errol, come on. We have been enslaved, mainly mentally. Actually, all of this has been in our minds. All of this has literally been on our minds, family. And they have used a lot of the things, especially ever since they invented the news and all these news stories of what's happening here and the propaganda and the lies and the information and the misinformation. That has been part of the perpetual neo-colonial agenda, the perpetual enslavement, family. And I'm sure by now you've heard the story of what happened in South Africa when there's a Nigerian-born South African who was chosen to be the Miss South Africa Universe or whatever. And then she was disqualified because they found out that they couldn't find if she was really born in South Africa. There were all these details, although she's grown up there all her life. And I'm not even here to argue about was she really South African or not. Because I think if us as Africans are still on that level, then they have us. Because we take these things too lightly. So anyway, let me just share what happened for those of us who have been under a rock or not paying attention. So when she had won the Miss Universe, they actually disqualified her and said she wasn't South African, that she was actually Nigerian. And if you're aware of the xenophobia that has been fueled for so many years to direct the attention away from the crimes of the Mzungu, the economic crimes of the Mzungu in South Africa, and focus on the small nini, the small pettings that they're getting, the small leftovers that they're sharing amongst the black population. So that that Nigeria, and I know it's a very sensitive issue, but so she was disqualified, and they chose Mzungu. I don't know how this Mzungu ended up being chosen, but they chose Mzungu to represent South Africa, and that was such a slap in the face. And the whole of Africa was like, "What is going on?" And that shows you how deep the brainwashing still is, family. I saw very famous people in South Africa saying, "This is my Miss South Africa. This is my," and I was just like, wow, you don't even get the deeper agenda because everything is mental. Everything is about the narrative. I've been saying this for years. It's all about the narrative. The narrative is not the nitty gritty and the facts. The narrative is that in such an important season, when the women are returning back to power, when the matriarchies are rising again, what do you think you're doing to the power of the so-called Afrikaans by putting a Mzungu up there, family? What do you think is going on? And because of this xenophobic hate, engineered hate against people that look like you, and I know, we also have Nigerians misbehaving in Kenya. There's been issues because our president's son-in-law is a Nigerian, and there were some issues with a crazy party they had and how they've been causing, we all know that. But family, we have to always see the bigger picture of what these guys, the image these guys are sending and what they're doing with their occult work. Because occult-wise, you guys have accepted the Miss Universe, the mother of your nation, literally, is a Mzungu woman. And anyway, so then Chidima, I think that's what her name is, she was actually invited by the Nigerian authorities to visit Nigeria and actually participate in the Miss Universe Nigeria, and she ended up winning. Now, there were also Nigerians who were very upset at her winning, saying it's because of all the hype and everything. I actually think she's pretty. The guys were saying she's an alien. I love our people. But it was, and it was such a massive slap back in the face to the South Africans, family. And if she goes on and does better than the Mzungu, that will be interesting. Although if they give the Mzungu the Miss Universe, the South Africa, you guys had better be worried, because that will be the biggest ritual of all time. It's like we still don't realize the game that Babylon is playing. We're still so naive. We still make it about personalities and South African versus Nigerian, when all of that does. The Mzungu is one. The Mzungu always sees themselves as one. And the only way they're able to defeat us is because they messed up our sight, this sight, and they shut down this first eye. So, we'll see how this all plays out. I really don't follow the Miss Universe process. I mean, there was even an Indian Miss Universe at some time coming from Kenya, and now there's all kinds of Mwindi invasion of Kenya's most, critical national assets. So I really am not just speaking out of just my ass or out of thin air, family. The day we start to manage our optics and manage our narratives is the day we will really start to make headway across the motherland. West Africa, which many are saying is East Africa, and they said the revolution would come from the East, because Africa's upside down anyway. They're like with Ibrahim Traore, they're moving, family. They keep moving. The last thing he did is he took over 2 gold mines. They're changing the education. They're doing their thing. But we're still entangled. And I think this is what happened with the British colonies, is we're so entangled with these guys. They're so in our story that we can't even breathe without a moment. And now they're claiming to be, like when I say Mzungu saying they're Kenyan, I'm always like, no, you're not. Ati, I'm British Kenyan. Or I'm Indian Kenyan. No, you're not. You're Indian who happen to have been given the grace of living in Kenya. You're Mzungu who happens to have been given the grace of living in Kenya. There's nothing Kenyan about you. Actually, there's nothing Kenyan about us, because when we go back to our nations, then where will you be? Because the only nations we recognize are the Agikoyo, the Ma, the Luo, the Kalenjin, all those nations, the 42, those are the nations we recognize. So which nation are you from? Because the British nation is not part of the Kenyan, what they call the Kenyan, but once the Kenyan falls, the nations that were there before. But because Mzungu created the system, they feel very comfortable coming out and saying, yeah, me, I'm Kenyan Indian. But shock on you, when sugar hits the fan in the country, they're the first ones to book a flight back to India. But anyway, family, we really have to avoid and understand and understand and overstand the games Babylon plays with our minds and our hearts. The Mzungu understands us way better than we understand ourselves. He's recognized that we're a very emotional being. We're emotional people. And so he's constantly using our emotions to pit us against one another. That was what was happening with tribalism here in Kenya. Our emotions and our egos, making us hate the Kalenjin hate until we all realized, we're all suffering. It's all our money that's being taken. It's our airport that's being taken. It's our minerals that are being stolen. And that tribalism thing has quickly fallen. Because this Nigeria thing went far. This Nigeria-South Africa beef went so far that I think South Africa, like Nigeria, ordered all these Ubers or ordered all these products from different companies and had them delivered to like different South African homes. They booked Ubers, they booked Airbnb. So they were just both mashing up each other. And we're not saying that we should all love one another, but in such a time as this, we have to secure the borders. Then we'll figure out the beef once we've secured the borders. But to be fighting each other as we're being fought by forces that have been planning for the complete takeover of our nation and have told us that they're even planning to eliminate most of the people is really misplaced and quite immature. But those are stories for other days. Special shout out to everyone that supports us on Patreon and on PayPal and enables us to continue to do the news and the Awakening Information family. We appreciate, love you so much. Definitely consider supporting us on those platforms, sending us a gratitude donation. We appreciate, love all of you who have supported us for so long. We definitely wouldn't be here without you. Until next time. Tuko pamoja.